power and the power. Pardon me, I'm feeling that game. Drip real heavy, yeah, moving them things. Really block, every dog's name. From the top, I'm winning this game. Pardon me, I'm
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
locked the door, she ain't locked away. White House flex, I'm setting it right. Part my drip, I'm taking they life. Drip real heavy when I sign that line. Freeing all the soldiers that's doing hard time. Justice ain't blind, but it's rigged by design. So I'm flipping all the scripts, gotta make the game mine. Streets going crazy and the ink gon' flow. Free my little homie, he was down on the
Good
low.
morning, everybody.
Justice
Welcome to the
flipping
show.
that low. Pardon it, then I put him back on the road. Doctors on my desk, got the crazy ass vibe. Fed talking slick, but the scared took a lie. Trapping in the Oval Office, looking like a brick. Pardon all the soldiers, not the one that's gonna switch. Yeah, James Law, and I'm cutting it clean. Executive moves, I'm living like a dream. They want me to break, but I'm built for the pressure. Power hitting, that's a whole new measure. From the block to the suite, they scream my name. Party got 'em jumping like a snowman. Hey, on the car, no cap. Calling a shot from the cell to the jet, now they taking off hot. Got a bullet in my wrist and I'm talking power moves. Palm hit the street, yeah, I'm breaking all the rules. Got the game in my palm, I'm shaking all the dice. And the dogs in the cage, now they living their life. From the desk to the trap, I'm saucy. Part of my dogs, we flossing. From the Oval Office, moving weight, no cap. Hard power, free the dogs, that's a fact, yeah, pardon. It's a move I make. Free the whole team, yeah, let them get the cake from the top. You know we got it. Pennsylvania Ave, yeah, you know it don't stop. Pardon me, I'm feeling that kid. Drip real heavy, yeah, moving them things. Clear the block, underdog's hand. From the top, I'm running this game. Pardon me, I'm changing that play. Lock the doors, she ain't locked away. White House flex, I'm setting it right. Part my drip, I'm taking they life.
All right. Here's my favorite part. Listen to it. Here it goes. This is my favorite part, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes.
I'ma take off.
Zeus haters. Shit.
I haven't gone into Zeus's live.
They say that all the time.
Shit was
Keep it clean, please.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh, give me a break.
It's like deja vu.
I've gone off the rails.
It's like deja
Give me a
vu.
break. Have you seen who's running the country? Have you really seen who's running this country? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thunderdome. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome to begin the countdown to midterms and do the real work it takes to make sure that we get this guy, this demon, out of the White House. Seriously, this country is in seriously terrible, terrible shape, and we'll get into that in just a second. Now, it's a new year, and so we're going to continue doing what we've been doing. But before we do that, let me take care of some very important housekeeping items. Actually, I want to say hello to all of you this morning. Actually, it's so nice all of you to be back here. Yeah. So we're going to, first of all, let me introduce myself. For those of you, this could be your first time tuning in and listening to someone like myself. I go by the name The Rizzler, Triple H is Zeus. But you say, well, what is this Triple H about, Big Zeus? And I say, well, let me go ahead and explain it to you. If you're curious about why they call me Triple H, I'll explain it. The first H is because I am humble. I am the most humble person on social media. There's nobody more humble than me, and we don't even really need to get into that, all right? The second H is it's because I'm humble. There's nobody more humble than me on social media, and we don't really need to even get into that. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which I don't mind getting into, it is truly because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you. Now, many of you are very familiar with what I do on this side of TikTok. What I do is spectacular, it's sensational, it's magical, it's theatrical, it's diabolical in a way, it's sensational, and it's incredible. What I do is I just simply I listen to these Trump voters out here who've gotten this country into one of the worst situations we've ever been in our American history. We're not even that old of a country, and I remind MAGA. And it doesn't matter what order, but the order I use is chronological, so to speak, because, we knew MAGA from the very beginning. They were a bunch of racist and misogynist people. Good morning, Kabira. Nice to see you, by the way, sis. How many of you knew when we first had to deal with MAGA, back when Trump ran the first time, we said, these are a bunch of racist people and misogynist people. And we thought that was really bad, especially after we dealt with George Bush. We said, actually, that's really bad, right? But then MAGA, they escalated it and they said, well, we're not just going to be racist and misogynist. No, what did they do? And it's almost tomorrow because today's January 5th. I'm never going to let January 6th go, but you said it. They engaged in seditionist, treasonous behavior on January 6th. And I said, wow, MAGA, you're racist, you're misogynist, and you're seditionist, treasonous traitors. I said, wow, there couldn't possibly be anything worse than that. And they do it all in the name of being Christians, by the way. And I said, could MAGA get any lower? And they went and voted for a criminal again and put the same criminal that got them in that situation. They put the criminal back in. And guess what MAGA is now? They are the guardian of P3DOs. Yeah. We have a sitting president who's a convicted criminal, an adjudicated rapist, and has not released the Epstein files because his name's all over. And we know about Lake Michigan. We know about the limo driver. And I say, so you're not just misogynist and racist. You're not just seditionist, treasonous traitors, but you're guardians of P3DOs. And I said, this is some sick stuff. And then over the weekend, I said, they couldn't possibly go any lower. And then we saw what he did with Maduro, this guy back here in the background. And I said, so you're warmongers too. This is a sick thing we've got going on in this country. And so I'll say this, if there's any Trump voters out in the audience today, do me a favor and just leave my live right now. Because I promise you, if you're triggered now, you're going to be very triggered as I continue to go through the content that I got to go through right now. I'm going to hurt your feelings. I am not here to celebrate the United States capturing Maduro at all. As a matter of fact, I believe Donald Trump, you know what he should do? I believe he should just pardon him and send him right back to where he came from, because that's all Donald Trump's good for doing. Yeah, everything he's done so far, every time you ask him why he did it, you know what they'll say? Oh, well, Biden, they said Biden put a bounty on his head for $25 million. I said, so you work for Joe Biden now? You MAGA demons, y'all work for the Democrats now? Just admit it. Because the jig's up. So what I'll say is this. If you don't want Big Zeus to hurt your feelings this morning, ladies and gentlemen, leave my show because it's going to get very uncomfortable for you. I promise you it will, but get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Now with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they have officially closed. And I do not take any responsibility for anybody's feelings that may hurt. I'm going to do what I came to do. All right, now, I want to start today's show off with something someone brought to my attention. This is truly MAGA demon behavior, and let me go ahead and get myself queued up before I start hitting record, before I start doing what I do. So people get mad at me every show about me blending the Bible and the rhetoric in the Bible into the Trump stuff that I do, the political stuff. And the reason that I do it, it isn't because really I'm a man that runs around here professing to be better than all these other people. That's not why I do the Lake of Fire. I do it because I understand that Donald Trump has aligned himself with a bunch of folks who call themselves Christians, and they've hijacked this great country of ours. And I'm not going to let them get away with it, because when they use the Bible and all that other stuff, they do evil and wicked things with it, right? What I do is I take it back from them and I highlight that they're not qualified to use the Bible, because in reality, if you truly followed the teachings of Jesus Christ, you wouldn't be sitting back here silently allowing Donald Trump to terrorize this country and harm everyday America. And now he's just terrorizing the entire world. And so what I'll do is this. I'll give you all a good example of what I mean when I say you got folks in these churches out here just literally worshiping the devil, but calling it Jesus. Someone sent this to me and they say, don't say anything negative about Donald Trump. Just pray for him, because God is using that man outside of our understanding. And so initially, I just laughed at this. I initially laughed at this. Is this a person who calls himself a pastor? I don't care what he calls himself. As far as I'm concerned, he ain't nothing but a pure demon, a pure devil. But listen to how these devils weaponize the Bible and use it to prop up Donald Trump. I've heard it before, but I said, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then don't worry. I'll send this demon straight to hell. It doesn't take long.
Just pray for him. Don't say anything negative about the president. Just pray for him. Because God is using that man outside your understanding. You can only understand Donald Trump if you read the Old Testament and see how God used prophets to destroy. So guess what? On one side, Donald Trump is doing God's will.
No, he ain't.
While at the same time, he's also producing the very vengeance that's going to cause people to attack us in the future. But it's ordained that way. Okay? They are dancing so much in Nigeria because Donald Trump went over there for one reason and brought it with the United States military. He said, oh, you want to kill Christians? Wonderful. We're going to kill you.
Oh.
And we sent a bunch of military people over there and they just start knocking down terrorists like you do at the bowling alley. He said, this is return for what you're doing to Christians.
Oh.
So the Nigerians are dancing. Then I woke up this morning and found out that Donald Trump then bombed Venezuela and kidnapped the president and his wife and brought them back to America. I was like, what? Do you realize how crazy this is? Your president said, y'all won't stop with the drugs over here. And I have known for decades, he gave him a chance. He said, okay, stop. We first gonna start bombing your boats. How many know for the last few weeks our military have been bombing all the boats bringing drugs to America, killing your kids. They want evil in this country. They want drugs to keep the systematic. Never mind. They said we have overwhelming evidence that the president of Venezuela was in cahoots with the drug dealers, pouring drugs into America.
Oh.
That is not something that you do. Is you break into another country, bomb the man's home, and you take the president and his wife of Venezuela and then put them on a helicopter and bring them back to Brooklyn. This is crazy. But guess who's rejoicing?
Who?
You want to know who is rejoicing? The Venezuelans. So that should tell you something.
Yeah.
Why is it every time, all the people talk about this man, but every time he does something, the people rejoice. And so you're making decisions based on emotions of what you think. You're not making decisions based on how God uses men. When you see how God is using this man, he fits so easily into scripture when God gets ready to judge evil. And the men he always uses to judge evil are always crazy.
You see how they blend in God, Jesus, and Donald Trump? Yeah. It's literally cult scripture. These folks, ladies and gentlemen, I caution every single person out there. If your pastor is pushing Donald Trump, like Donald Trump is a new rug in town, because that's what they do when they got a new stash and a new supply of rugs. They push it on the people. If you have a pastor out there pushing Donald Trump on you, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that's not a pastor. That is not a man of God. That is a demon working on behalf of the devil. God is not using Donald Trump. Think about it. Why would God say, you know what, all these billions of people on the planet, the person that I am going to use is the one that's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? The person I'm going to be using is the one that, did what he did in Lake Michigan and the limo driver. Oh, the one that I'm going to use is the one that tried to commit an insurrection against the U.S. government. The one that I'm going to use is an adjudicated rapist. The one that I'm going to use is the one that has lied so many times, you don't even know when he's telling the truth. He's the chosen one. That's the one I'm going to use. This is why I got to do it on my show, because I got to snap your MAGA minds back into reality, and this is the best way to do it. All right, W's in the chat for Kim. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Let me go ahead and warm up the lake of fire, all right? This is for every single one of you so-called Christians that are allowing your so-called spiritual advisors. Remember whatever his name is, but the one that Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, he's the one that I saw in handcuffs because he was involved with harming little girls. Yeah, again, another example of how Donald Trump is not being led by God, but led by the devil. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Donald Trump and his demonic minions, his demons, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is this. Let's talk about how Tulsi Gabbard, once upon a time, just said something about Donald Trump. Or actually, she was talking about Obama. But listen to how she says every time the United States goes into another country, it topples a dictator and overthrows the government. The outcome has been disastrous for the people of these countries. It was okay when she was saying it about the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Back in 2020, excuse me, this is about Biden. But it was okay when she was saying it and it applied to the Democrats, all right? Listen to this.
Look throughout history, every time the United States goes into another country and topples a dictator or topples a government, the outcome has been disastrous for the people in these countries. That's why we should use our leadership in the world to try to broker a diplomatic solution, working with countries like Russia that have great influence over Venezuela so that there is a peaceful outcome. Because I can tell you as a soldier, Martha, I've seen firsthand the high cost of war, and pushing for this civil war, pushing for the use of military force will only end up with more suffering and death and disaster for the Venezuelan people.
You see, that's Tulsi Gabbard once upon a time having the courage to actually say things that actually made a lot of sense. But all of a sudden, when she's at the knee, in the Trump administration, working for the devil himself, or one of the devil's most valuable assets, I should say, because the devil may be a lot worse than Donald Trump, I'm starting to think, but Donald Trump's right up there. I think they report to one another, to be quite honest. All of a sudden, it's okay to invade and topple another government. It's not okay when there's a Democrat in charge, but it's okay when there's a demon in charge, right, Tulsi Gabbard? See, this is why I say America is the biggest laughingstock and the biggest joke on the planet right now. And it's because of folks like Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump, and every single one of you MAGA demons in my comment section. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire once again. It's the hypocrisy that gets me. If you're going to be a demon, MAGA, just be a demon. If you're going to worship the devil, just worship the devil. Stop pretending like it's anything other than that, because we all see through you like glass. like it's a glass house. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons straight to hell. They reported me. They always want to report me.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. I'm going to keep going. At the end of the day, I get so tired of restarting this app. I'm just going to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. So these Trump voters, they're in my audience out here. And they run to the TikTok help desk. TikTok, please help us. Big Zeus and his Democrat friends are making my life so miserable because he works for the DNC. I mean, these folks come up with all kinds of excuses. I really am at a point now with you Trump voters right now where I just sit back and I go, have you actually listened to any, have you Trump voters actually hit play? And do you play back the things that you say? Or do you look at the stuff you're posting on the internet? Or is your brains completely out to lunch? You don't see what you sound like to a lot of us? It's sick. You get offended by me. You get offended by me. But the very thing that I'm doing, you claim you should have free speech. Well, everyone should have free speech except for Big Zeus and the Democrats. Yeah, you're all a bunch of hypocrites. W Zeus. I get so mad because these folks are tearing up the country, they're destroying our country, and they're running around here acting like they're winning. Not one Trump voter is winning. I want to be honest with you. You see what's happening? None of you got health insurance, especially those of you who are getting those Obamacare subsidies in like states like Florida, a lot of red states. You're not, what on earth are you winning? You're just mad because Kamala Harris Reverend Dr. Hold on, Reverend. You think you got something? You got something, Reverend? Come on up here. Oh, Reverend, you can't even get in the box. And you call yourself a Reverend. I'm not going to call you a Reverend, and I'm not going to call you a doctor. None of those titles. You haven't done anything into proving yourself worthy of any of those things. So if I were you, honestly, I would just strip those names. Just call yourself, what is the rest of the demon's name? Reverend Doc, or Charlie. Just call yourself Charlie. Yeah, Charlie the Demon. Let me say something to you. You are a stain on democracy. And I don't even know you, but the fact that you would sit up here in the middle of all this chaos going on, and the first place your mind goes is to Kamala Harris, it just shows me everything I need to know about you. There's nothing good about who you are. You have nothing to brag about right now, Charlie, because your dear leader is out here making you look like a plum-dumb fool. Charlie, let me ask you a question. And this goes to any of you Trump voters. If you could answer yes to any of my questions, I promise you, I will apologize right here on TikTok, but I know that they won't do it. Has Donald Trump made any arrests regarding the Russia hoax? Charlie? Has Donald Trump made any deep state arrests? Charlie, don't get quiet now. You had so much to say. Has he made any of those deep state arrests that he had promised you? He probably. Oh, look at Charlie right now. The devil trembles when the truth is around. Hey, Charlie, has he released those Epstein files? Huh? Has he made any arrests around Fast and the Furious or the January 6th stuff or the 2020 election, Charlie? Has Donald Trump made any arrests about the white stuff that was found in the White House when Joe Biden was the president? Has he made any arrests about Hillary Clinton's emails, Charlie? If he has, Charlie, come on up here and show me, because the only thing he's doing, Charlie, honestly, is proving every single day that there's no low to how low Charlie will go. That's a huge W, Zeus. You want to report the live like a bunch of sick people. Ladies and gentlemen, let me play this again for you Trump supporters.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Let me give you an example of what I mean, how disgusting and sick these MAGA demons are. We have news that a fake law enforcement officer was arrested for searching a black man's car. Joshua Warner, 44 years ignorant, 44 years possessed, is accused of impersonating a federal agent and unlawfully detaining a person after being caught by two YouTubers who filmed law enforcement for content.
What's going on? Look at this. They're getting searched right now. I tell them to leave.
Listen to this.
Have a good night. Who are you?
Can I help you with something?
Hey man, don't be shining that light in my friend's face.
No, you cannot.
What's your problem, man?
What's your problem?
Who are you?
I don't have a problem with you filming me. I don't care.
Who are you? Name and badge number. Get your camera. Get your light out of my camera, asshole.
You're
not an officer. You're not an officer.
Turns out, he's not a real cop.
Oh.
Name and badge number.
He's not a real cop.
You're not a real cop. Stop shining that light in my eyes.
Quit bothering people. You ain't a cop.
Where's my light at? Get his tag number.
Get his tag.
All right, you see it? Do you see it? Good.
You just hit me in the face with it.
You see it? Good.
You just hit me.
For those of you who are curious, I apologize. Normally I have the photo, but I didn't today. But I'll say this. You know what the suspect is. Same suspect. White, out-of-shape guy somewhere in some dusty part of America crawled out of the trailer that he came out of and decided to dress himself up. And you could tell he's messed up because the way he dressed himself. It's the same usual suspects. They think that because Donald Trump is the president, they all of a sudden magically, click their heels together. I'm now an officer. I'm now an officer. I'm now an officer. And then he decided to take himself out onto the streets of America and start terrorizing the American people. Same usual suspect.
I'm gonna mace you, bro.
You see it? It's right there. Good.
You just hit me in the face.
This is some sick stuff.
Yeah, he just assaulted you. I got it on video. You just assaulted him.
And then he jumps into a Ford Fusion, a midnight blue Ford Fusion. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. This is what I'm talking about. And I promise you, This is why they go, well, why do ICE agents gotta wear masks because people are gonna send the threats at them? Well, do you understand what's happening in America right now? You have Trump voters out here dressing up like law enforcement, terrorizing people. And this is all because of Donald Trump. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Donald Trump and his demons where they belong, straight to hell. Yeah. I don't care. I really don't.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W. Zeus! Now, I want to go back a little bit onto the Maduro thing because it seems to me that there's a lesson out here that no one's talking about it in the media. They've mentioned it, but they're not telling the story the way that they should tell the story. And this has to do with Maria Corina Machado. Okay? The woman who they say won the election and should be the president of Venezuela now that Donald Trump has kidnapped Maduro. All right, so I'm going to read this, but then I'm going to send her. I am going to send Maria Corina Machado. I'm going to send her straight to hell, and I'll explain why. So, recent comments made by Donald Trump dismissing Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado as the person to replace Nicolas Maduro, stating that she doesn't have the, quote, support and respect, because Trump says she doesn't have the support and respect needed to become the president of Venezuela, stemmed from her recent decision. This is what she did. This is her crime in Donald Trump's eyes. Her recent decision to accept the Nobel Peace Prize, an award that had been publicly craved by Donald Trump. So Donald Trump wanted it, but she accepted it. Two people close to the White House told the Washington Post that Machado acceptance of the prize was the ultimate sin to Donald Trump, despite the fact that she had dedicated the award to Donald Trump at the time of having complimented his work towards Venezuela. Quote, this is what they're saying. If she had just turned it down and said, I can't accept it because it's Donald Trump's, she'd be the president of Venezuela today. And this to me, and I said, you see what happens, MAGA? You see what happens when you allow yourself to think that Donald Trump somehow cares about you, right? You should have never aligned with the demon. All right, Maria, you should have never aligned with the demon because the demon only cares about the demon. And you are starting to find out, like the rest of the folks who worship this man, that he only cares about himself. And now look at this, Maria. You have truly played yourself at the highest level on the international stage. Maria, you would feel a lot happier about that Nobel Peace Prize if you would have just kept it and never congratulated Donald Trump. Because then, even if you weren't the president, you still got it and it looks like you did it on your own. But now, you're sitting there with a Nobel Peace Prize that you dedicated to Donald Trump. And the man doesn't even respect you for anything. Congratulations, Maria. And let this be a lesson to any of you demons out there. The same thing that's happening to her, it's going to happen to you. Because guess what? We all know it. Donald Trump only cares about who? Himself. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. Yeah, I'm sending Maria straight to hell. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Maria Machado, who dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize, W. Kabira! Join me in sending her straight to hell! This is what you get. This is what you get, Maria.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, now let me move on, ladies and gentlemen. I want to call this out, and this is something that came from the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro. He went after Donald Trump, and I can't, he says it, in Spanish, but I'm not going to play what he said, but I'm going to say that this is what he said. He says, a clan of P3DOs wants to destroy our democracy. To keep Epstein's list from coming out, they send warships to unalive fishermen and threaten our neighbors with invasion for the oil. So I'm going to give him a round of applause. Thank you, Art. Thank you. I'm really up here doing this because I love it. I love my country, and I got to get out here and speak out against these atrocities being committed in the name of the United States of America. So it's amazing to me, MAGA, that Colombia and every other person on the planet can see the fact that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein is what this is all about. Has Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, this is what came up to me, and this is why I got to send a lot of you Trump voters straight to hell. This is what they're saying. A source confirms that the Department of Justice has not provided Congress the legally required explanation for redactions in the Epstein file release, despite the January 3rd statutory deadline under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Why hasn't Donald Trump complied with the Epstein Files Transparency Act law? Why is he not doing it? He has all this time to go topple governments. He has all this time to go after Greenland and, go after Cuba, go after Colombia. They call them caliphates now, rug caliphates. This, I heard him and Lindsey Graham talking about. He has so much time on his hands to bring in $18 trillion, trillion with the T. He has all this time in the world to do all these other things, drop boom booms on Somalia and go ahead and do it in Nigeria, go anywhere. He can meet with Netanyahu. He can bring Zelensky in. He got all this time on his hands, but he can't bring himself to obey the law of the land when it comes to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Win. Win is a demon that just said they stand with Putin. You don't stand with Putin. I promise you, you don't stand with Putin, because if you did, you wouldn't be listening to me. You'd be boots on the ground in Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these hypocrites, these Trump voters, where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Now, what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I want to get into the cover-up right now that's happening in the United States of America, all right? We have a cover-up going on, and these are the faces of the cover-up. These are just some of the faces. I'm going to start with Marco Rubio. It's so funny how these demons on Sunday morning, instead of taking, well, of course, what was I thinking? I don't expect demons to go to church on Sundays. I expect them to do the work of their leader, the devil, right? So let's start out with Marco Rubio going on to, this week, ABC News, meeting up with George Stephanopoulos, who Donald Trump clearly hates, but he goes on and tries to cover up the mess Donald Trump made. And we're going to go through just some of this together, because I got to go ahead and send Marco Rubio straight to hell, too.
Marco Rubio, Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us this morning. President Trump was pretty clear yesterday. He said the United States is going to run Venezuela. Under what legal authority?
Well, first of all, what's going to happen here is that we have a quarantine on their oil.
So, under what legal authority, Marco? And you didn't even answer the question. Is there something wrong with you, Marco? Are you not able to comprehend English words? We're not asking you about anything else. Let me ask a question, because I skipped over this entirely. And this is why I say just go ahead and pardon Maduro. Just pardon him and get it out the way. Personally, I wouldn't, but when you see all the people that Donald Trump has pardoned, you're going, what's the difference? What's the difference? That's all you can say. What you pardon Juan Hernandez, and then there's Maduro. What's the difference? I don't get it. So, is there anyone out there that believes Donald Trump did the right thing by invading Venezuela? I haven't asked this question this morning. Is there anyone out there that thinks what Donald Trump did is a good thing? Hell, you all said hell no. I saw you, Edge. Okay, Pete, come on up here, Pete. I want to ask Pete to come on up here and explain this to all of us, ladies and gentlemen, because I promise you, Pete doesn't believe that. I promise you, Pete doesn't believe that. Pete, come on up here, Pete. Send me a guest request. I promise you. And I'm going to see if he answers my question truthfully. All right, he'll know what I'm saying. Pete, come on up here, Pete. Okay, Pete doesn't want to come up here. You see how I got Pete to zip it? You see, I got Pete to zip it. Hey, Pete, send a guest request if you want to get out of that straight jacket. W little hot. They never do. Pete, when you get the chance, go get your real account, because you're probably one of these Zeus haters out there. And you come on back, but in the meantime, Pete, listen to one of the demons working for the Trump administration. Just prove my point, really. Marco Rubio does an outstanding job not answering questions.
Their economy will not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met. And that's what we intend to do. So
you hear him, Pete? In the interest of the Venezuelan people. Pete, isn't it amazing, Pete? Donald Trump promised to deport 20 million plus people, especially from Venezuela, right? Now Donald Trump wants to take care of those Venezuelans here and there. Pete, that's amazing. And all of a sudden you've changed your position, Pete. You love the Venezuelan people. Pete, it's amazing how all of a sudden we all see you can't think for yourselves.
That leverage remains. That leverage is ongoing. And we expect that it's going to lead to results here. We're hopeful that it does. Positive results for the people of Venezuela, but ultimately, most importantly for us, in the national interest of the United States. We will no longer have, hopefully, as we move forward here, we'll set the conditions so that we no longer have in our hemisphere a Venezuela that's the crossroads for many of our adversaries around the world, including Iran and Hezbollah, is no longer sending us drug gangs, is no longer sending us drug boats, is no longer a narco traffic.
I gotta mention this because I haven't mentioned it. I find it hilarious. I really do. That Donald Trump is the one person talking about he has an issue with rugs, when we've heard this man sniffing. We've heard Donald Trump just sniffing away in a lot of his. How many of you have heard Donald Trump just every time he talks? I mean, and you know the whole family's dealing with the issue, right? I mean, these are, and you can't help but wonder why be so silent, Donald Trump? Don't just say this is about the oil. Admit it. You want to get your hands on the rug supply too, Donald Trump, because let's just be honest, Donald Trump, you don't care about breaking the law. You want to become the biggest rug dealer in the hemisphere. I get it, but he won't tell his supporters this. I see through it. He not only wants the oil, but what's way more important is for him to have complete, total dominance over that white stuff that him and his family just love to, you know what I'm saying? I could tell right now.
In paradise for all those drugs coming out of Colombia to going through the Caribbean and towards the United States. And obviously we want a better future for the people of Venezuela. We want them to have an oil industry where the wealth goes to the people, not to a handful of corrupt individuals and stolen by, pirates all over the world.
I'm going to stop Marco right there. Since when did we decide it was more important in the United States of America to care about the people in Venezuela who are suffering, who Donald Trump said are being let out of insane asylums? It's just so funny. We don't got health insurance, right? Research funding is being cut. SNAP benefits is being cut. Funding for just all kinds of cancer research. And we don't care about any of that. All we care about is, for some strange reason, the rugs in Colombia and Venezuela and oil. See, this is how I know a lot of you Trump voters, y'all can't think for yourselves. And so what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, because I got to move on and deal with the demon himself. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, in warming up the lake of fire. Once again, and I know they're going to report me. They get so mad at me, but you're only mad at me because I'm showing you what your dear leader is doing. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourselves because you allowed yourselves to be played like a fiddle. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons once again straight to hell. Hi, Marco.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. Now let me go back to this devil real quick because he was on the airplane yesterday, Air Force One, ladies and gentlemen. He was on Air Force One yesterday, and he literally just went and tore his drawers in front of me. He tore his drawers in front of the American people with all of these outlandish statements that he was making, and we'll go through some of these statements together, ladies and gentlemen, because it's very, very important. The first thing that I want to talk about is him saying that we are in charge of Venezuela, all right? And he's basically saying if they don't behave, we might do a second wave. This is some crazy stuff.
Senator Lindsey Graham.
Hello, everybody.
Amazing talent. And
you said the U.S. would run Venezuela.
Listen to
we're
this.
dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
No, I haven't, but other people
Do you want to?
Yeah, at the right time I will.
Did the U.S. give Delcy Rodriguez any guarantees in exchange for cooperating?
No, but she's cooperating.
Are you going to demand free and fair elections in the short term in Venezuela?
Well, it depends. You know, when you're talking, we have to do one thing in Venezuela, bring it back. It's a dead country right now. It's a country that, frankly, we would have been, if I had lost the election, we would have been a dead country. We would have been Venezuela on steroids. Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies to bring back the infrastructure. And the oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in, they're going to rebuild the infrastructure. You know, we built it to start off with many years ago.
So Donald Trump is saying they were a dead country, and he's going to bring it back to life. And again, where are the people out there that believe this is a great idea? Remember I asked the audience just a few minutes ago, I said, who out here really believes this is a good idea? Any of you Trump voters still believe this is a good idea? Just send me a guest request, because what I want to do is prove to you that it's not a good idea. I got 100% satisfaction guaranteed or your money back evidence that these folks, they don't really believe this is a good idea. They know, like it's casinos. Name one thing, MAGA, that Donald Trump has successfully managed. I'll wait. Name it. Without no fraud involved, no rigging going on. Just name one thing. Promise you, you can't do it. And I know for sure, I see them in the audience right now. None of you Trump voters, not one Trump voter, ladies and gentlemen, is willing to go out there and defend our new oil reserves that we just got. Because, hey, Democrat, those are our oil reserves now. And wouldn't it be nice if we could just send these Trump voters out there to defend our new oil supply? Right? I mean, listen, a come up is a come up. I'm not going out there because I opposed it. I think it's a terrible idea, but you've done it already. And a lot of these folks, they are willingly, they willingly and blindly support Donald Trump. Yeah. So the way that I stand, Venezuela is in Project 2025. Yeah, over 20 times. This is the plan all along. W. Shea, yep. Any of you Trump voters want to go to Venezuela right now? Let me ask, if you really believe this is a great idea, then come on up here and let's go through the process of getting you enlisted. Right now on my show, I will take time out of my show and we'll go ahead and enter your information and get you set up so that you can enlist in our armed services and get your behinds out there and defend our new oil supplies. So, where are the Trump voters at right now? Tiny Tank Top Tim, you want to go to Venezuela? Let me go ahead, put the answer in the comment section. I promise you he'll say something silly. He'll say something silly other than the answer being yes, because even he knows this is silly. This is what I'm talking about. W. Zeus.
They took it away. You can't do that. You can't do that with me. They did it with other presidents.
How soon do you think an election can take place in Venezuela? How soon can an election take place?
Well, I think we're looking more at getting it fixed, getting it ready first, because it's a mess. The country is a mess. It's been horribly run. The oil is just flowing at a very low level.
And you were saying that...
Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is him changing his position when it comes to regime change. You know, I did a video about it, but I'm going to talk about it here. Years ago, 2016, he had a different position about regime change. All of a sudden, he now thinks it's a great idea. And you could just catch this demon in his lies, ladies and gentlemen.
Regime change and a nation building.
Where?
When you were speaking at the RNC back in 2016, you were criticizing regime change and nation building, the U.S. being involved in that. It seems obviously that your stance has changed on that. What led to that? What is the U.S. nation building now? Is that
this isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. Okay. This isn't a country like we have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area. The Monroe Doctrine.
So now it's okay to topple a regime as long as you're doing it in the name of the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, which is a spinoff of the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, this man isn't even original. His lies aren't even original anymore. They're lazy lies. They make absolutely no sense. And I know a lot of the Trump voters, they're listening and they're going, ha, ha, oh, he is so funny. But again, if it's such a good idea, MAGA, why don't you go to Venezuela? Why don't any of you Trump voters actually start backing the ideas that your dear leader is suggesting? See, it's fun for a lot of you when you don't got to be directly involved with it. But like I said, I firmly believe that people have been asking me, why do you keep saying it? I firmly believe when this is all said and done, a lot of you Trump voters, y'all won't be around because your dear leader is actively taking measures to destroy you. Look at Charlie Kirk. Look at Charlie Kirk. You know one thing you can say about Charlie Kirk? He was alive under Joe Biden. W. Zeus. You can say that. Okay. Now let's move on to Lindsey Graham jumping in the middle of this. All right. And he's talking about, well, first of all, he just starts glazing Donald Trump in a way that's very disgusting. But he's talking about possibly having to go in and go after Cuba, go after Colombia as well. I mean, this is some sick stuff.
A good part of the nation, murder, rape, come back ever.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. They said they were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Can I just add something?
This is Lindsey.
So when he first got elected in January, we met, biggest comeback ever. We talked about
so really? I didn't feel it was a comeback, actually.
So,
because the first one was...
The bottom line is, we talked about a drug caliphate in our backyard. We had Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these three countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics. Joe Biden put a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head. Chris Smith, the day he got inaugurated, said, I hope Trump will hold Maduro's feet to the fire.
Wow.
He did. So what has he done? He's going to clear our backyard of a drug caliphate. Countries run by narco-terrorist dictators who murder, rape, send drugs into our country to kill thousands of our citizens. To my Democratic friends, you should be celebrating this. When bin Laden went down, I was the first to applaud President Obama.
Isn't it interesting how these MAGA demons always seem to become scholars of Democrats, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, when it fits their narratives? It's amazing how they can instantly bring up these Democrats and basically, make it seem like they're really heroic figures as long as it fits their narrative. But then, when you say, well, this is what else the Democrats do, let's get some health insurance. Oh, there you go again, being a communist. Why is it okay, MAGA, to on one end listen to Joe Biden, but then on the other end not listen to him? Explain the logic behind that, MAGA. And you can't explain it without calling yourselves hypocrites. You don't have a problem with the Democrats, MAGA. You don't. You do every single thing, and then when you do it, you say it was the Democrats that did this. So you don't have a problem with us. What you have a problem with is yourselves. And I got something for you in just a second. I got something for you. But again, let's listen to these folks literally tell on themselves.
This was one of the most sophisticated military operations in the history of the country. What they were able to do was
more sophisticated than us capturing bin Laden? Really? Really, Lindsey?
They knew we were coming. We had a good part of the Navy, and they were able to capture this man alive. No military in the world could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans.
Wow.
This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
How many times did Donald Trump, while he was on the campaign trail, say, yeah, I'm gonna invade Venezuela? How many times while he was on the campaign trail did Donald Trump say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get Cuba? Yeah, no new wars, right, Tara? How many times did he say he was going to get Colombia when he was on the camp? Could you imagine his campaign trail if he was to actually say to the people he was, that were voting for him, if he was going to just list out all the things that Donald Trump was going to do? What other things did Donald Trump say that he was going to do, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to make sure MAGA understands, all right? Because this, to me, this is the big deal in the country right now. I recall Donald Trump saying he was going to do a lot more than the deep state arrests. Let me go to my list real quick because I want to remind MAGA how we got here. Okay, yeah, here we go. Did he on the campaign trail? Did Donald Trump say that he was going to drop boom booms on Iran? Did he say he was going to do that? Did he say he was going to increase government spending when he was campaigning? Did he say that he was going to participate in a cover-up of Charlie Kirk's unaliving? Did he say, when I become the president, I am going to cover up the Epstein files? Did he say that when he was running? Did he say that he was going to plead with the Israeli government to give Netanyahu a pardon? Did Donald Trump promise you all these things, ladies and gentlemen? Did he tell you he was going to grift and rip the American people off with crypto coins? Did he promise all these things on the campaign trail, MAGA? While y'all are out here celebrating and clapping like a bunch of blind fools. Did he say, you know what? When I become the president of the United States, I'm going to go one step beyond Joe Biden, and I'm going to give aid to Israel, I'm going to give aid to Ukraine, and I'm going to give aid to Argentina, and I'm just going to give out a bunch of aid to all of these countries. Did he run on that, MAGA? I'm just looking for one yes. Did he say, I am going to get a bunch of you off of Obamacare in under a year? Did he promise these things, MAGA? Did he say, I am going to call Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor once I become president because she is a traitor? Did he promise these things, MAGA? See, this is how you silence these folks. Because we got the list. We got the knowledge about what these demons really were promised, right? Oh, did he promise that he was going to put a 10% stake in Intel and call it fascism? Y'all got to be some of the most gullible, knuckle-dragging, simple-minded folks I've ever seen on the face of the earth. And you're the biggest joke. Did he promise to let more H-1B visas? I'm going to bring in more H-1B visas. Remember all these tariffs, it was supposed to bring back jobs. Remember, I'm doing the blanket tariffs because we got to stop the rugs from coming in and bring manufacturing jobs back. He ain't doing any of that. He's bringing in H-1B visas. And you know what he's doing? Did he campaign on, I'm going to bring in 600,000 Chinese students to attend our American universities? Did he do any of these things, MAGA? You see how I got him real quiet out there? No new wars. Yeah. I mean, you hear these things that he's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to a little bit of what he was talking about in that ridiculous press conference gaggle, all right? He actually went as far as to say, he's going to do the Insurrection Act. And you got to understand, when he talks about these things, he's actually foreshadowing it, all right? So that when he does it, the reaction isn't as crazy as it normally would be. He's going to do the Insurrection Act, all right?
Think of it.
Speaking of Los Angeles, the National Guard, you pulled out the National Guard out of Portland.
We did.
In Los Angeles.
And you know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that? But we pulled it out. We had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, The crime will soon start because they now know that we're out. And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in, and we may, if we're allowed to. The most powerful thing we haven't used, the Insurrection Act.
Here it goes.
You're considering using the Insurrection
I've always considered it, but
the Insurrection Act. Why? Oh, because he doesn't want to see what we're gonna do in November, right? We all know what this is. We know what this is. He doesn't want to leave the office. This is why I say he should just go ahead and pardon Maduro. Maduro and him, what's the difference between Donald Trump and Maduro minus the Epstein angle? What's the difference? What's the difference? Actually, I could make the argument Donald Trump is a lot worse. At least what Maduro was doing, that was local. That stayed in his own country. We don't get in the middle of other people's business. That's how I was raised. But what Donald Trump is doing, he has done everything Maduro has done. DJ, you think it's funny? Because you know it's true. You know it's true. Did he not try to overthrow the government on January 6th? We were literally in the middle of Jack Smith going viral because he totally had destroyed Donald Trump about what he was doing with January 6th. He couldn't go into detail about the classified documents, but a lot of people, and it's from a credible source, a lot of people have said what was in the classified documents may have been Epstein files. Think about this. All those boxes, and you go, what on earth was so important to Donald Trump that he had to commit an insurrection against the United States government and then follow that up with classified documents being stolen? And then and you know how he says, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm starting to believe it. So if you ask me who's worse, I would say Donald Trump by a landslide. He's a lot worse than Maduro. He's a lot worse than Maduro because that thing he did in Lake Michigan, on top of what he did out there in Texas, with the limo driver, and the fact that he's brazenly breaking the law of the land by not complying with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And a lot of y'all call yourselves Christians out here upholding this nonsense, this evil demonic work. I would rather take my chances standing up for something like this and saying I'm not going with it and deal with the consequences than to be complicit. In this nonsense, this evil madness, and then have to look back, decades later from now and look my descendants on and say, I was one of those demons out there that supported Donald Trump terrorizing the world. I won't do that. So DJ, you can laugh right now, but if you remember things that I've said to you before, same thing that makes you laugh, it'll make you cry. Listen to Donald Trump once again just commit America to a bunch of nonsense.
We haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it. Bush used it, I think, 22 times or something. You know that one. I mean, Bush the elder.
Now, what are your short-term, next 2 weeks, what do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? You threatened
just total access. We need total access.
So, and again, they asked him, what do you need from Delcy Rodriguez, the current president of Venezuela? And again, he says total access. And I said, just like a true predator. That's how predators talk. Total access. You Trump voters are a sick bunch of individuals out here. DJ, let me ask you a question, DJ. You didn't answer my question. Who needs total access to someone other than a predator? That's predator talk. You know it, DJ. Yeah, access to what, lady boss? Hey, DJ. Do you need help booking a flight to Venezuela? You need to go to Venezuela, DJ? Because I saw what you wrote in my comment section on the video I posted when Donald Trump invaded Venezuela. You wrote F-A-F-O. You wrote F-A-F-O. And I said, oh, what does that mean? That means you actually think what Donald Trump did is a great idea. But I promise you, DJ, you would never have the courage to take a flight right now to Venezuela and defend those oil supplies that now belong to us. Those are my oil supplies, DJ. Those are mine. And I need you to get out there ASAP and defend my new oil supply. Will you do it, DJ? Will you? Watch DJ come up with a reason not to do it. He won't do it because he's scared. You're scared to defend this oil that we just got. So I know this. I know you guys are a bunch of weaklings.
We need access to the oil and to other things in their country.
Oil and other things. Didn't I tell you? With all that sniffing Donald Trump and Don Jr. have been doing in the White House, I know a play when I see it. They want that stuff, that booger sugar.
And allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
And on Greenland,
On Greenland now?
Yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
Greenland.
Do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine. We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months.
He doesn't want to talk about Epstein. What a joke. What a huge joke this is. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to belabor the issue any longer. I think it's time for us to go ahead and deal with the part of the show where we give Donald Trump what he deserves. Judgment. So I hope I've addressed every issue this morning. While all of you out there get upset with me and you get mad about me using the lake of fire, you call yourselves Christians, I hope I made my case crystal clear. I'll continue to use the lake of fire and judge every single one of you demons and condemn you straight to hell with your dear leader. All right? Because that's the best we can do right now, absent of us actually being able to legitimately and legally hold you all accountable. You all are so lucky that I am not the president of the United States of America, because I promise you, if I was the president, and I'm going to say this to anybody that's a Democrat and running to be president, I'm going to give the game away. We'll argue about all the policy issues later on. But if you could promise me this on the campaign trail, if you could just say, when I am president, I will go after every single one of these MAGA demons in the United States and prosecute them immediately. It won't be a long, drawn out trial. No, 24 hours. And if they voted for Donald Trump 2-3 times, they got to go to Mars. All right. If I were president, that would be mandatory. You voted for Donald Trump? Yeah. All right. Well, we just revoked your citizenship and we're going to send you in one of those spaceships that Elon's been building and we're going to send you straight to Mars. No questions asked. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. If I were president, that's what I would do, because none of us should have had to been subjected to all of this terrorism that your dear leader has been doing to the United States and the rest of the world. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire and sending these demons where they belong. Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA demon!
Zeus. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen, that concludes my monologue. I'm very upset this morning, honestly, because I just see this country declining and going backwards, and I know a lot of the Trump voters, they are pretending. They're pretending amongst us that they really do believe that what Donald Trump is doing is a great idea. But when you ask them, actually put some meat on the bone and get your behinds out there and actually start supporting some of this man's policies yourself, they will not do it. So you're all talk and no walk. W Zeus. Let me go to the box, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go ahead and start having some organic conversations with some real people. And I'll bring up my mutual, okay, because Nutty's here. Good morning, Nutty. Welcome. No, I don't want to run for president. I'm good on that. But if I were, you know what I would do.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good outside of the issues that I've been covering. You?
So I'm doing well, thank you. You know what's interesting, Zeus?
What's that?
So tomorrow is the anniversary of the insurrection, right? The whole Epstein speak has ramped up since we can see on a daily basis that he's not going to comply with the very law that he signed.
Ain't that something?
Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure. So tomorrow's the anniversary of this. And so I believe this is just me speaking now.
Yeah.
You know, I have no proof of this. So DJ, get your panties back inside your pants.
Good.
I feel that this is absolutely calculated to, again, it's all distract. Because this is so egregious, Zeus. This is so egregious that our complete focus has now shifted from January 6th, because that's going to be talked about. Is it going to be talked about as much as it would have been? I don't know.
Yeah.
But complete focus from January 6th and the Epstein files. Here's another thing. He's supposed to be arraigned today. Maduro's supposed to be arraigned today. I'm not quite sure. Now, I am no attorney.
Right.
No attorney. I don't pretend to be an attorney.
Right.
If there is an international law attorney somewhere out here, can you please tell us what law did Maduro break to be prosecuted in the United States of America? Because the Constitution that I read and the laws that I know, in order for you to be indicted or brought to trial on a crime, that crime has to be committed in said jurisdiction. What law of the United States of America did Maduro break, and where did he break this law? It matters. That's like me, Zeus. I'm over here in misery.
Hey, help. Yeah,
go ahead, sir.
Because
go ahead.
DJ is saying he was indicted. Wasn't Donald Trump indicted?
But see, that's the thing that I was just getting into, Zeus. That's the thing. Again, DJ, what about the Russians who were indicted a couple years ago under Joe Biden? Did Joe Biden invade Russia?
If he would have done that, I promise you, they would have cried.
They
Joe
would've.
Biden, Sleepy Joe's getting us into these conflicts. He's weak. That's what they would have done.
They would have.
But when Donald Trump says it, it's amazing.
I'm here in misery. That's tantamount to, let's just say Kamala is still the Attorney General in the state of California.
Yeah, Kamala.
That's like Kamala,
God bless her,
coming over here, crossing the border, coming to misery.
Yeah.
Coming and breaking in my home, having California agents break into my home, sweep me out of bed, extradite me to California just to make me stand trial in California when I'm not even in California to commit a crime.
He broke a California law in another state.
Exactly. So again, I'm not quite sure what he is going to be arraigned on. And my theory is, Zeus, this is all a front. I do believe in your monologue, you brought up Hernandez.
Yeah, Juan Hernandez.
Yes, you brought Hernandez up. If you all seen the pictures of Maduro, the dude was posing with DEA agents. Someone who was just kidnapped. Why are they out there in shackles posing for pictures? I do believe he's going to be set free. I do believe that was his escape out of Venezuela. I do believe he's going to take the billions that he stole and he's going to be in exile somewhere. He's going to be in exile somewhere.
Like a true criminal.
Like a true criminal. And his buddy Donald Trump helped him. So I posted, I shared in my stories a video from Louis Farrakhan several years ago speaking about this very thing when Trump was in office the first time.
Yeah.
And listen, Yeah, y'all, don't hate Louis Farrakhan to the point that you can't hear what the man is saying, because the man brings up great points. So look at that story that I posted, because he talked about Donald Trump, and this is not from this year. This is from several years ago. My, oh my, how things have manifested and now have come to fruition in 2026. Go listen to what Louis Farrakhan said about Donald Trump wanting to steal the oil in Venezuela.
This is sick.
It's there, y'all.
Yeah.
And so DJ is really showing his butt today.
You know why? Because he sees it. He sees it, and people. There's a phase. People go through phases of acceptance. He's in one of those phases right now where a lot of this is still funny to him, but he knows what you're saying is true, Nutty. He knows it.
But Zeus, it's not funny until that arrow finds it's that arrow is going to become a boomerang. You know how when you throw a boomerang is designed to come back to where its point of where it's being thrown from, right?
Yeah.
That arrow is going to be a boomerang. It's not funny until that arrow comes back to hit him in the butt. See, here's the thing, Zeus. We already have heard the talking points. Oh, Democrats, again, they're defending a dictator. No. Maduro, we all can agree that he is an evil person, that he needs to be laid down, just like our evil person that's sitting in the White House. We can all agree that he's an evil person. We can all agree that he does not need to be in power. We can all agree to that.
Well, hold on, Nutty. Has Maduro been linked to the Epstein files?
Absolutely not.
Has he ever said anything about having relations with his own daughter?
See, I don't follow Maduro like that, but I have not heard anything of that sort.
I haven't either. So
nor have I heard him say he can grab women by the kitty cat. Meow, meow.
I haven't. So in a place that I'm in, I go, well, who's more of a threat, Nutty, in your opinion?
Donald Trump.
W Nutty.
I'm sorry, I couldn't let you finish the question. I could not.
So what are we really doing? Yeah, exactly. What are we doing?
So it's funny, and I'm going to speed this up so I can get out of here.
Yeah.
It's funny how, the people that defend Donald Trump, they praise this, but yet the same Venezuelans that are living here in the United States of America that just a week ago was telling them to go home, they're standing on the same fence line and praising Donald Trump for what he has done, but yet those same stupid Venezuelans that live here in the United States, they're standing on the side of MAGA right now just to be deported next week.
Remember Asler? Remember Asler? His name says everything about him.
How could we forget Asler?
Yeah.
How could we forget him?
Yeah.
So how can a criminal call someone else a criminal and then tell us, gaslight 350 million people and say, I'm going to uphold the law?
He can.
Well, the last time I checked, Mr. Zeus, criminals are antithetical to upholding the law. That is how they got to become a criminal. I mean, you see that's very elementary, is it not?
Yeah, you're right. Spot on.
That is very elementary. So DJ, listen, man. Listen. You got to stop. At some point, you really have to start loving the United States more than you love to smell Donald Trump's ass crack.
He can't.
Like this is ridiculous.
He can't.
At some point, you have to put partisanship aside.
Yeah.
Because see, Zeus. Oh, I'm sorry, man, because I didn't want to be up here this long.
He loves putting his face in Donald Trump's region you just described.
He does.
I've seen it on his face. He turns on his camera, and I didn't say it last time, but you said it now. I saw the orange Cheeto dust. I saw it all over his face. Sick man. He's a sick man.
Absolutely. You know how some people take baby powder and put baby powder on to eliminate odor? They crunch up Cheetos and that's what they spread all over themselves
I
because
have
they want to
stopped
look like
eating
their daddy.
Cheetos. I've stopped eating Cheetos because of DJ.
That's funny. I have too.
Yeah, and because of the Trump voter. I don't even eat them anymore. I go, you can add as much flavors as you want to them. Make them hot and spicy, add pickle. I could care less. I know nasty when I see it. And you Trump voters are a bunch of nasty folks.
Well, in closing, man, listen. The United States has its own problems. We have our own problems, and our problems are serious because I just remember my memory is not that great, but I remember when, Zeus, we were told that they were supporting Donald Trump because of no new wars. We couldn't get anything else out of their mouth other than no new wars. The border. Now you don't even hear them talking about the border anymore. But no new wars.
Yeah.
No new wars. But yet in that same press conference, Zeus, he talked about Cuba and Colombia. What we did here in the United States of America, it signaled to every other dictator or dictator wannabe that this is the blueprint on how to get things done because there isn't going to be a consequence against Donald Trump.
Wow. That's sad.
So, it is sad. We need consequences. We made the grave mistake back during the Civil War not to hold the Confederacy accountable. This is why history is repeating itself, because they weren't held accountable. We must hold this dictator in chief. He must be held accountable. Impeachment proceedings must be started immediately. That is the new word of 26.
Amen.
Impeachments.
Impeach him.
Plural,
Impeach him.
not singular.
Exactly. And get all of these corrupt war criminals out, all right?
Thank you, sir.
W Nutty.
Have a great day.
You too. No lies detected. Impeachment season, yeah. W. By the way, Anne, it's your baby's birthday today. I saw that. Tell her we say happy birthday in the kingdom, all right? Seriously. Thank you. I think that's what I just read. But yeah. I get so angry and upset with these Trump voters. They're a bunch of weak cowards. They don't get up here and actually try to defend what's really going on. W. Rick. Yeah. Where are the Trump voters at this morning? Where are the Trump voters at this morning? Are there any Trump voters out there listening to this broadcast right now and want to come up here and confess your sins? I'm gonna try to split it up and because somebody has to go to hell on this show. Someone has to go to hell on this show, and I need a brave soul to come on up here and face judgment. Yeah, I don't know if Congress is asleep, but Christina says, please don't bring DJ. Look at this, DJ. DJ, do you understand how many people dislike you? They don't. I want to use the word like hate, but I don't even like to use that word hate because I was told don't hate a person because that means that eats away at you. But do you understand how many people completely, just totally despise you? You leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Just when they see your name, they don't even want to eat anymore. It's a sick situation that you demons, and I say this to my audience, please, I ask my audience all the time, I say, could you please be kind to my demons out there, please? And they're like, you know what, Zeus, I love you, but no, because they don't like you. They don't like you all. I mean, and I firmly believe this. You're at a point of no return. There are some people that you could go, okay, I understand how you voted for Donald Trump, and you know what, I'm willing to work with you. But to be in the situation that we're in right now, especially on the eve of January 6th, and y'all are still out here propping this demon up and acting like all is good in the hood, it's a disgrace. You got active members of Congress not even doing their job to hold this man accountable. Seriously. Handsomeism. Eugene says, stop bringing him up. We're sick of it, Zeus. Well, you know what, Eugene? If I listen to everything everyone say, some people, Eugene, and I love you, but they say they're sick of you, Eugene. They say they're sick of you coming in here, you and Nutty, and saying things about your handsomeness, too. Should I listen to them, Eugene? I mean, I'm just being honest with you. We got to be honest with one another. We got to be one another. Eugene, please. Please do something right, Eugene, and fix yourself. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't like Eugene or Nutty when they get up here and they start talking about handsomeness, I don't care if you block them. I really don't. WZ's. Win, you want to come up here, Win? Send me a guest request. Because I can't send you a guest request, Win, so please, knock it off. All right, I'm going to bring up my sister, Takesha, while Win is up there trying to figure out how to use TikTok. I'm assuming you're a Trump voter. I don't know. If you're not, my apologies. Good morning, Takesha. How are you?
Hey, Zeus, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. And you?
I'm coming along. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Nutty. And that's hard for me. Ooh.
That's crazy.
Hold on. Let me get my heart rate back
under control. Oh, you got your holy oil?
That judge right there made my heart race. For saying that I agree with Nutty.
You came out the gate with that one. Wow.
Yeah, something wrong with me. You have to get the bad out first. I believe it's all a setup too. And I'm going to tell you why.
Talk to him.
When Donald Trump was indicted on everything he was indicted on, did Melania get indicted too?
No.
Why they brought that man's wife with him? Why did they take him and his wife? What the wife got to do with it, Zeus?
I never have seen her doing anything, to be honest.
Because she got to go wherever he going. Because they finna get up out of there. I believe Nutty when he said that was his escape out of Venezuela. Wow. He got that money, him and his wife finna go live good. Wow. Trump gonna take their oil, and that was the deal.
Wow, W. Takesha. So you think this is all just part of one grand scheme?
Everything that goes on with this, everything that goes on with this administration is one big scheme. Wow. These people around here celebrating him going over there talking about how Venezuela needs to be rebuilt, but he's supposed to be America first. You got extra money now that you got to pay for your premiums, but he over there in Venezuela. You can't even pay your energy bill.
That part.
But he over in Venezuela.
Yeah.
You got to buy chicken thighs because you can't afford chicken wings or a hamburger, but he over there talking about what Venezuela needs.
Amen.
When is it going to be America first?
Oh, she's not lying. Yeah, you're right, Takesha, because I'm sitting here trying to cut back. You got to turn this light off. You got to turn the TV down. You got to keep your heat.
And Zeus, didn't these people say we need to be worried about America versus other countries? We vote for Trump because he not going to be worried about other countries and what they doing. He going to be focused only on America.
You had me right there when you said he was going to be focused. Trump.
Let me say it again.
He can't focus. He can't focus, Takesha. You know that.
Zeus.
Come on.
They say he gonna be focused only on America. He has made America first, and he did nothing for America.
No.
What he did? Name one thing he's done for us, Zeus.
I can't answer it, but maybe you got one of my little demons out there. Any of my little demons out there can tell us what Donald Trump has done to help the United States of America. I can't think of one thing. And I got a powerful brain, Takesha. I got a very powerful brain.
But you know why I sit back and laugh, Zeus?
Why?
Because he got MAGA cheering for the very thing they were against.
Now, Takesha, could you give us an example of what you mean when you said that? Because they can't seem to get it.
We love him because he has no new wars.
Yeah, okay.
He done attacked 3 folks. 3 countries. And now they saying it was a good thing.
But he ended 8 wars. Actually 8 and a quarter now because of Thailand and Cambodia.
Listen, them folks just like Ike and Tina, they still fighting. Stop it, Zeus.
But how do you explain MAGA constantly falling for it though? Isn't that impressive though? How they just
Let me tell you this.
I don't get that part.
I gotta say this, Zeus, because I heard something that shocked me, and I realized that something is wrong with blagger men.
Oh, blagger men. Yeah. You said blagger men.
Blagger men. Zeus, I be scrolling TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't go to but 3 live. There's you, Ange. Well, 4. You, Ange, Polly, and Handsome Liberal.
Okay.
I don't go no further than that. That's why I don't know a lot of folks on this app.
Okay, fair enough. I get it.
But I heard a blagger that comes to your show. I was strolling. But as I was strolling, the first thing I heard him say was Donald Trump was his role model. And I'm saying to myself, a grown man saying that another grown man is his role model lets me know that he missed out on a male role model in his childhood. Because Zeus, if you think about it, children, Zeus, listen to me. Children have role models. But as you are an adult, you should be the role model. But if you still looking for a role model, that means that you lacked male presence in your life as a child.
Oh, W. Takesha. You know, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you, Takesha.
These men got to go sit on somebody's couch and get some help. When Donald Trump is your role model as a grown man, there lies the problem.
Wow, flesh and blood didn't reveal that. I never thought about that angle, Takesha, until you just said that. So these are men these are broken. I won't call them men. These are boys coming out.
They broken, Zeus.
Broken boys.
They didn't have a male role model. And so now they have fixated on Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
And like I said, Zeus, when you grown, you should be somebody's role model. If you ain't had your role model by the time you 12, you don't even need now.
Wow. You know, I almost feel sorry. Should I feel sorry for these broken
a little bit, Zeus.
Okay, all right. Because I feel sorry for now because they don't have, they've never seen a real man in action. And
these men, and that's including white men, because there's there's a lot of single white mothers on this app that's begging for help for them and their kids. Stop trying to make us the stereotype, because y'all dads walk off as well. Y'all gotta start staying in these children's life. Stop walking off. Even if you don't make it with their mama, still be the man that your child needs to be a dad.
Wow. You right, Takesha. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen. So, these folks, let me get this straight, because now it makes it a little different if I encounter them. They're you know, they're looking for a father, and all along he was gone. You know, Tupac had that song, To Your Mama. Remember that?
You know, Papa may have been a rolling stone. He may have rolled to the beach and got stuck in the sand and never came back and showed his hand.
That's a rhyme for your behind.
That's a rhyme for your behind.
Hey! So it goes back, ladies and gentlemen, when I ask y'all to please be kind to my demons out there, please understand, especially the blagger species, they're coming from broken homes, and Donald Trump really is their daddy. Because to me, Takesha, it's night and day. It's like, I look at a person like Trump and I go, there's just nothing, we really don't have anything in common except for the fact we're really, humans. But outside of that, we come from different walks of life. But you're right. I have heard them say, Donald Trump is their role model.
I'm embarrassed that he is the role model for them. I mean, you got people that are so compassionate, that have done great things in life. And for you to, he said it with such conviction and compassion. I almost saw a tear.
He didn't say like Benjamin Banneker or Booker T. Washington on my role model. He didn't say nothing like that. What he say?
No, he said it like this. Man, Trump my role model, man. He my role. And I said to myself, really, how old are you that this man is your role model? You a grown man and you still need a role model?
Ladies, run for the hills. If you hear a grown man talking like that, run for the hills. Do not let him impregnate.
I hope you don't have a son.
Don't let him impregnate. I don't know who Takesha is talking about, but I got to say this across the line. Don't let no man that thinks Donald Trump is their role model. Please don't let him impregnate you.
Please. Please. Because he'll be trying to say that's your God, Dad, and you never met him.
There you go. That's a little of the love guru stuff that I used to do, but you made me decide I needed to call that out, Takesha, because these folks are broken. They're unstable in all their ways. They probably won't be able to hold a job for long because, they get into these spaces and then their manhood gets compromised and they don't know how to handle that, right? And this is what
Yeah.
we're seeing. Yeah, it's a sick thing.
It is, Zeus. I just had to make sure I let you know that and to tell Nut I agree with him 100% because they had no reason to take that man's wife. Like I said, when they indicted Donald Trump, they didn't indict Melania. So that lady shouldn't have had to be coming with that
Amen. That's a
man.
good point.
They did it because both of them finna go on about their business and had them a good time.
Amen.
At the behest of Donald Trump.
Amen.
Have a good day, Zeus.
All right. W, Takesha. No lies to take. I always enjoy the moments when I have a good, clean show with no MAGA demons up here just ruining it. I really do. So thank you, Takesha, and thank you, Nutty. Because when you deal with MAGA, ladies and gentlemen, you deal with a you know it's a demonic force over you, and you just got to go, okay, how do I want to deal with this? When you asked to come up here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I just need to clarify something, Zeus. Good morning, everybody out here.
Uh-huh.
Now, earlier when I said I stand with Putin, that was saying the release of the Venezuelan president.
Oh.
That's the only thing I was talking about.
Oh, so it came out wrong then. In other words, you don't like Donald Trump. Am I right?
Exactly.
Okay, Win. All right, Win. Well, you got to be careful. You just can't say stuff because Putin's a war criminal now. So you got to just simply say, release Maduro. You got to say that because, I wouldn't personally release a criminal, but when we got what we got going on in this country, you got to make an exception for that.
But Zeus, I did make another comment right after that saying on releasing the Venezuelan president. They didn't put that one up there for you to see. They just put the one where I said I stand with Putin.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to keep up with everything, but I still have the best mods on TikTok, but I got you, all right? Now, thank you for coming up and clearing that up, Win, all right?
Yep.
All right. You too. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, oh my gosh, wow. We have an amazing broadcast. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't gotten to talk to my good friend, Brother Swerve. Welcome, Brother Swerve. How are you doing, bro?
I'm hanging in there, Zeus. How are you, my friend? How was your weekend?
Very good, especially when I disconnected from this app and lived my life, because you got to do that, but pretty good. Thanks for asking.
No worries, man, at all. I tried to disconnect, but when I woke up Saturday morning and saw what was going on, I sat and I listened to so many lives and sat in on a couple of lives as a guest on the panel. And I was amazed to see people somehow believing that, people on the left and Democrats were defending Maduro. We're not defending Maduro. What we're defending is the fact that our president committed a crime. Okay. Now, I'm going to quote Miss Keisha. If Miss Keisha is still down there in the chat, she'll remember when she said this. I think it was Saturday in the Angie's Live. Or I don't know. Could have been Rox. I can't remember, but it was one of those.
Yeah.
But she said, and I agree with her 110%. You had Pootie Tang. That's what we call Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
You had Viktor Orban. You had BB Butthole Yehu. all of whom were in this country. All of whom have been condemned as criminals for crimes against humanity, causing suffering and G-sides.
Right.
Yet Donald Trump just let them skate by, let them go on and walk. Right?
Right.
But this man, you invade his country and you kidnap him and his wife, because that's what it is, kidnapping.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the president of No New Wars, and we went over this list. We've been going over this list for a couple days now. The president of No New Wars has invaded several sovereign nations. Nigeria, ring a bell?
Yep.
Iran, any of these sound familiar?
Yep.
Yeah. Venezuela, there's another one. But this is the president of peacetime, No New Wars. And there's this reporter out there, an investigative journalist named Jackie Kelly.
Yeah.
And I need to find the video again. But she basically created a montage of Donald Trump on the campaign trail, talking about how he was a peacetime president. He was going to be a peacetime president. No more getting hung up in forever wars and this, that, and the third, and peacetime, peacetime, peacetime. No new wars, no new wars, no new wars.
Wow.
Yet here the man is starting wars with people. And Greenland came out. Greenland posted a message. Said, you know what? You can stop with the bull. They basically said, try it. And you're gonna find out what happens. F around and find out.
As they should. As they should.
Because this whole notion of American exceptionalism, it makes me sick to my stomach. These people believe that the rest of the world needs the United States more than the United States needs the rest of the world. And what they're going to find out the hard way is nothing is further from the truth. Just ask our farmers who can't sell their soybeans or their wheat. Just ask them how much the rest of the world needs the United States. But they believe it because Donald Trump told them.
Ain't that something?
It's sad.
Yeah. And so, do you think has Donald Trump done anything for Americans since he's gotten in office from your vantage point, Brother Swerve? Because to your point, everything he's doing is stuff that he never said he was going to be doing when he was campaigning.
Zeus, I can't think of one thing he's done for this country. And they'll sit there and say, well, he closed the border. No, he didn't. The border's still open. We got thousands of people crossing the border on a daily basis. We got workers going down to Mexico. We got people going down to Mexico. We got workers coming from Mexico and people coming back from Mexico. Yeah. The border ain't closed. But when they said, well, I could easily sit here and say the port of entry at the border, it's wide open. It's so wide open.
Yeah.
They think the whole border is wide open, and it's not. If the border was ever wide open, what are we paying our border patrol agents for?
Exactly.
Did we just send them all home with a paycheck during Biden's presidency?
That's what they'll tell you we did, but that's totally not true.
And then you got Trump. See, this is what gets me about their hypocrisy, Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
You got Trump on Air Force Dumb talking to reporters when he pardoned the Honduran president.
Yeah.
You're talking about, I don't even know who he is. It was a Biden setup. Wasn't no Biden setup. The man got convicted in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Okay, and he got time in. And you're sitting there. You don't know who it is. You just heard. Heard that he was treated unfairly. You just heard that.
Yeah. None of it makes sense. These people. I don't even want to call them people. These creatures. MAGA aren't human. They're not human. They're creatures, and it's unfortunate. When this is all said and done, I firmly believe, but you might have a different position. Do you think they'll still, when this is all said and done, the dust settles? Do you think they'll come clean and admit they voted for Trump?
They might admit they voted for him, but in that same breath, they're gonna say, "I regret my vote." And they can't even tell you one thing he's done. Because you know what, Zeus? Let's be real. Him deporting people?
Yeah.
Does that help your grocery prices?
No. Actually, it makes it more expensive is what I'm finding out. Because haven't you noticed that the groceries have started to cost more since the deportation started?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
That just fell flat on his face?
They know it. And they'll sit here and they'll say, oh, well, gas is down. Well, it's wintertime.
Yeah.
Gas is down all over the country.
Yeah.
Watch what happens come springtime when it starts going back up. What y'all gonna say then?
Oh, but we got oil reserves now in Venezuela. So shouldn't that make the gas prices come down immediately?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, how come?
No, we got to dig it out of the ground.
Oh.
It has to be refined, which that takes a little bit. It's going to be months before they can get that to market. And do you think the oil companies, OPEC, they're going to lower oil prices right now based on what might happen in the future? Because let's face it, the person who's in charge of Venezuela right now, they're like, yeah, we're not bending over for this.
Oh.
And Donald Trump is basically saying, more airstrikes could be on the way. So the president of No New Wars is already threatening them.
Wow.
And Colombia and Cuba, he's threatening all these South American countries.
Wow.
But he's No New Wars. Wow. And every single one of these people, Zeus, when we have boots on the ground, that first KIA that comes across the airwaves then they're going to start feeling some type of way about the president of no new wars.
Wow.
He's the president of no common sense.
Go ahead.
That's what he is.
Yeah,
It just pains me as a veteran to see how this country has been handed over to fascism.
Yeah.
And then these idiots, see, this is how I can blow a hole through their logic. They'll sit here and go, Democrats are fascist. Oh, okay. So you want to fight me? Oh, yeah, we could meet up. Yeah. Oh, so you're anti-fascist. You damn right I am. So you're Antifa. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Well, look, if I'm a fascist and you don't like me as a fascist, you're anti-fascist, which makes you part of Antifa. No, I'm not saying that. That's how ridiculously ignorant they are.
Yeah.
And it boggles my mind, Zeus.
Yeah, because they have no thoughts. They have no identity, is what we're finding out. And Takesha hit the nail on the head, so to speak, when she said they lack role models growing up, especially the men. So Donald Trump has somehow imprinted his manhood onto these weak-minded individuals.
Well, you know what? If that's the definition of manhood, I don't want to be a man no more.
Me either.
I'm glad I'm on the left, Zeus, so I can go ahead and start transitioning. Women live long anyway. Goddamn it.
Renee, you said. Hold on, Renee. You said L swerving. What has he said, Renee, that has you so triggered, Renee? Because that's not what this show is about. What we're trying to do, Renee, is we're trying to free people from the shackles. Because you're basically a slave out there, Renee. You're a slave to Donald Trump. She doesn't want to give us any answers.
Of course not. Of course not. And I'm gonna treat Renee just like Donald Trump is gonna treat her. I don't know Renee from a hole in the wall. Because I guarantee you Donald Trump don't know her from a hole in the wall. And he don't care about her. No. Just like I don't care about her. I don't even know who she is.
Yeah, me either. This is the first time that you were talking, and when they start talking, when they start doing what Mace just did, when you start telling the truth, I say, oh, you must be striking a nerve. And if she has something to say, you know what, Renee, send me a guest request, and you don't need to wait until Swervin leaves. You could do it now. I promise you, it'll be the worst decision of your life today.
I promise you, I'll be nice. I'll be respectful. That's my New Year's resolution is to try to be kind to MAGA. But Zeus, I've been tested several times this weekend. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. I've been tested several times this weekend.
You got.
And I'm holding my own.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of tolerance to do that because that's a tall order.
And I don't. I usually come up on your panel, Zeus, once every couple of weeks or so. I don't want to nutty up your life.
Get him.
But I just want to say I don't know. I got a really good friend of mine on this app named Jamie. I don't know if Jamie is in the chat or not. But Friday was her birthday, so if she is listening, Jamie, I wanted to give you a shout out. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
And
I don't know Jamie, but happy birthday, or maybe I do and I just don't recognize because I'm terrible with names. But happy birthday, Jamie.
No, I'm the same way. And Jamie and I have been friends on this app for about 6 years now, almost.
Wow.
And
testament. Yeah.
This community that we've built, like you saw how we all came together for our dear brother attacking.
Oh yeah.
That community that we built, it's amazing. And the community that we built and the people that I know from the kingdom who come to visit me, the great advice and information that I get from everyone, it's been incredibly beneficial to me over the past few years.
Good.
And I finally finished everything that I needed to finish with the Social Security Department. So I am officially retired. And I have received all of my back pay.
Good.
So thank you to everyone in the kingdom for all your thoughts and prayers and warm wishes. I appreciate that. And now I'm going to start making some serious plans. And I'm going to get back to doing the advocacy work I've been doing, which is helping our houseless community here in Columbus, Ohio, as well as our houseless veterans.
Good. All
and
right.
Doing all of those things. So I'm enjoying retirement, but I'm going to try my best to stay busy.
All right. So, well, we support you in doing that. And, as always, we've been doing this for years. Thank you for always coming up and contributing. to the platform. You know, you do an outstanding job helping me out. I really do appreciate it. All right.
Oh, you are most welcome, my friend, and thank you for having me up. And hopefully, Nutty knows it was just good fun. I'm just a little jab here and there. Being Nutty, you know, you my brother, so don't be feeling some kind of way about it when I drop down.
All right, all right.
Zeus, let me just say one last thing, brother. To all of you beautiful, tiny people living in my telephone. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. Happy New Year. Everyone, please be well, be safe, and doggone it, have fun while you do it.
All right. All right. W's in the chat. Brother Swerving. No lies detected. Hello, Stargazer. Can you all hear me? I saw some comments saying you can't hear me. Is it you can't hear Big Zeus, ladies and gentlemen? Is that what's going on? All right, can you hear me? I just want to double check. Let me see. You can hear me? Okay, yeah. I saw some people saying that they couldn't hear me, so I just wanted to double check. All righty then, ladies and gentlemen, let's move it along. Oh my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, hold on right here. Hold on. Good morning. I want to know. I don't want to say the name because we don't want to get the live taken down. But I think whoever this person is, Brother Eugene, I think you're having an issue with your connection, and rightfully so, because I don't want to say anything, but this is a brother that's disillusioned, so to speak, into believing that he's a handsome person in my show, on my platform, and I have to say, I was ready to take care of that, but I guess his connection kind of saved him. So what we'll do is we'll move it on. All right. So let's move on to my good friend, Brother Val. How are you doing, Brother Val?
How's it going, Zeus? Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's to you. Nice to see you back in the kingdom. All right. Give a
back in the kingdom.
Yeah.
I want to start this year off a little differently than what we normally talk about.
Okay.
So I want to start this year off a little differently, and I want to tell you all a little story about something that happened in 1787. There's this woman that actually asked Benjamin Franklin. She goes, well, doctor, what have we got here, a republic or a monarchy? And Benjamin Franklin answered her, Madam, we have a republic, as long as we can keep it. And what did he mean by that? He actually expanded upon that. It emphasizes our participation as the public in this country to maintain our freedom. It emphasizes the value, the vigilance from the citizens to survive and remain free. Okay, that's what he meant by that statement. It's not just a document. Those were Benjamin Franklin's words. It's not just a document. Okay. Well, this year in July of this year, we'll celebrate 250 years. Okay. And with that 250 years, people need to remember that we've been the envy of the world because of that document. You know what I'm saying? Through most of that 250 years. These are the things we need to remember when we watch what's happening today. And I ask MAGA this question. Are we going to celebrate losing it on July 4th of this year? Or are we going to celebrate fighting for it as citizenry of this country? That's what matters this year, because we really do stand a chance of losing it. Okay, and these are the things, because we're watching a president subvert it every way he possibly can. And these are the things that are going on. When we talk about Venezuela, here's the funny thing about Venezuela. If the president of this country would have actually gone forth through Congress and said that he wanted to remove Maduro and put back in their duly elected president that was actually duly elected, and put that person back in power and make sure that happens, he would have probably gotten approval from Congress to do exactly that.
Wow, okay. You think so? You think so?
I actually do. To actually restore an actual duly elected official to the country that they were put in. That people need to forget is the woman that nobody's talking about was actually duly elected beginning of this year. And Maduro subverted it. This is the second time he subverted an election in the country. okay, from somebody that was duly elected. If that was actually to be the case, I believe Congress would have been okay with that. I would have been okay with that.
Wow.
Okay, to go back in, put the duly elected person, and get out. Okay, let's see if they can actually fix their own country with somebody that wants to move forward in more of a freedom base and actually improve that country.
Yeah.
No. This is about the money, people.
He said he didn't want any leakers. That's why he didn't go through Congress.
Right. That's why he didn't go through Congress. But you can't do that. Our Constitution, Article 1, did not allow for what happened. Okay? That's the thing that people need to understand. Our Constitution was built to stop these kind of things, as well as international law. We can get into that another time.
Yeah.
But the Constitution was built to stop what the president has done. The president is not a dictator. That is the reason that when asked that question, Benjamin Franklin said what he said, as long as you can keep it. That question was asked by Elizabeth Powell, okay, in 1778 at the end of the Constitutional Convention. And that is what we are fighting for. We have got to get ourselves back up as a country, stand ourselves back up as a country, and actually fight for the Constitution that represents this country. I can understand if you want changes in the Constitution. We were built for that. Okay? But we, as the citizenry, have to fight for that. We have to let our representatives know we're not going to accept what is happening right now. And we're not doing that. You've got MAGA that doesn't even understand the Constitution. When somebody comes out and says, oh, I agree with everything this president's doing right now, what you are really saying is you don't want the republic, you want the monarchy.
Wow.
That is what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
And so when people come out with this is what I want people to know. I want MAGA to answer it this year. Are we going to celebrate the loss of our Constitution on July 4th of this year? Or are we going to celebrate our citizenry standing up and saying enough is enough? This needs to end.
Yeah, I would love to see if there's any of my little demons out there that could answer that question. Do you think that these folks that have voted for Donald Trump, do you really think they support him? The ones that you hear out here saying this is great?
I believe you're going to have that 10 to 15% of his supporters that have no education level whatsoever other than hate in their heart. Okay? That they don't care about the individual. They care only about their own individual person. And they do not care about the public or the citizenry of this country. So therefore, they actually come out and say, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. I like what he's doing. I got what I voted for. Those are the things that keep coming out of their mouth, but without actually understanding what they're saying and how against the Constitution that actually is.
Yeah. There you go. W's in the chat for Brother Val. He just laid it out there. And you know what, Val? I think we have someone. Good morning, Nova. Welcome to the show.
Morning. Can I just add? Is it constitutional when you guys don't get to pick your candidate when the Democrats throw their candidate?
Actually, yes. You know what, sir? You can go back to that. Hold on. I'm going to answer your question.
Nova.
No. I'm going to answer your question.
Nova, you got to let him answer.
I'm going to answer your question.
And the reason that we're going to let him answer the question, Nova.
I'm going to answer your question.
Hold on, Nova. The reason I'm going to stop you there. I don't like the Biden pivot. I don't like Democrat pivot. But so, Val, could you please go ahead and put a lid on this narrative?
Yeah. I'm going to answer your question, sir. The rules of both parties and their candidates are actually up to the parties. Okay, so if your party has that rule built in place, it does. And sir, so both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party actually have the same rule when it comes to this. Hold on, sir. I'm not done.
Yeah, of
Sir,
course.
this was also answered in 1968, sir. In 1968, we went through this in 1968, and that's how it is. But sir, now I'm going to return your question.
Now, this is what I want to get into because Nova, we really want to drill it down into your understanding. You don't need to quiz us.
If I can't
Well, hold on.
But we want to drill down into
your
your logic, Nova. You came in here throwing it at us, but we've already expressed ourselves for over an hour. We need you to give us answers. Then we'll open it up for you to question us. But we need the answers.
You could go back to the election before.
Okay, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Stop right there. Stop right there because you want to play this whataboutism.
We're not good with
Hold on. You want to play this whataboutism? Here's your whataboutism, sir.
Just calm down, Nova.
I told you we went by the rules of the Democratic National Committee. Now, sir, and your Republican National Committee is the same, by the way, same rules. But here's a rule, sir, that you need to ask yourself. By the Republican National Committee rules, a candidate that does not participate in their debates is not eligible to run for president by the Republican National Committee, sir. Hold on, sir.
Nova, did you hear the question?
I did. The rules.
Yes.
What did you actually broke the rules of the Republican National Committee, and you want to come up here and talk that bullshit?
Listen.
Okay, Val. I mean, Nova, did you hear his question? Nova, did you hear the question?
Yes, I have. Can I?
What was the question?
Listen, he was way ahead. So why would he jump in there? And also remind you, he's not just debating the other candidate.
Hold on, sir. See, now you're making excuses. The rules were you have to participate.
ABC,
he did not participate in any single debate amongst the Republican Party.
Yes, he did. Stop.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not, sir.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't, sir. Tell me one.
There's no reason.
Give me the date.
There's no reason, sir.
Give me the date.
Give me the date. Sue ABC.
Give me the date.
Millions of dollars for defamation. Why would he go against them again? Just so they could slander him over and over and over. That's why they had to pay him millions of dollars. You know that.
Hold on.
Because they lie on him.
Hold on. So, Nova, are you making the claim that? Okay. So are you saying Trump Are you saying Trump participated in the Republican debates in the 2024 election cycle? Or are you going back to the other previous elections?
Well, he did. Well, when it comes to debating the Republicans, yeah, like I said, why would he debate when he's 40 points up? Why would he do that?
But the answer, could you answer the question? We need your credibility is.
So I'll agree. He did not debate the other Republicans.
Okay.
But
There's
no question.
There's no
sir. There's no other thing.
W Val. So Val gets the point. Val gets the point, Nova, and that's just how the game goes. If you make a claim and you can back it up, you get a point. You can't back up this. So now we have to deal with the fact that Trump didn't debate during the primaries, and he still got to be the president.
And by the rules of the Republican, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. No, stop right there. By the actual rules of the Republican, hold on, sir. Stop.
No.
By the rules of the Republican National Committee. By the rules of the Republican National Committee that have been in place for almost 70 years, he cannot run for president.
He did cite his lead as the reason that he didn't. So you were right on that. But I guess Nova, and I just got to call balls. And where did Nova go? Huh. All right. Well, Nova, I hate to do it to you, but actually it's with great pleasure that I do it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. And this is for Nova and any of these other Trump demons getting up here, trying to pivot to the Democrats, only to be exposed as themselves being violators of the very rules they're trying to say we should have followed. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending that demon Nova, who left my show ran scared, tail tucked, straight to hell. Thank you, Val.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
The actual difference is every time they bring this up, our party actually followed the rules set forth by the Democratic National Committee. Your party did not follow the rules set forth by the Republican National Committee. So if you want to come up here and talk about rules, and talk about what's constitutional, what's not, understand that you are the one that did not follow the rules of your own party. The Democrats actually did.
I knew he didn't debate, but I didn't equate it to the swapping out of, because they say Kamala didn't follow the process, even though she did. But they try to make it look like we were forced to deal with Kamala because of the whole Joe Biden dropping out thing. But when you juxtapose that, I guess, against the fact that Donald Trump never debated during the primaries, and you go, and he kind of said he had a 40-point lead and he didn't want to open himself up.
He did not have a 40-point lead. That was also BS too.
Yeah, but he was ultimately trying to say because Trump was dominating in the polls,
right.
He didn't have to subject himself to being scrutinized. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which to me is robbing the votes, robbing the voters.
If you're going to play whataboutism in politics, you may want to make sure that whataboutism doesn't apply to you.
Yeah. Wow, you just got cooked, champ. Wow, W Val, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So and let that be a lesson. Don't come onto this show ever again trying to bring up Kamala, filling in those 107 days, because we're going to bring this up. For him to not have debated around other Republicans, because they should have been able to call him out on his failed administration, right?
Correct.
They never got a chance to do it. So you all basically were forced on the right to deal with Donald Trump, and you talk about us? Wow, that's diabolical. Wow. I'm angry now.
Right. That's the thing. That's the thing that upsets me the most, right? Right. You want to play this game, but understand that the game y'all are trying to play right now, like I said, as long as you can keep it. The game y'all are trying to play right now goes against everything we actually should stand for.
Wow. Well, listen, Brother Val, thank you so much, bro. You came up here and you cooked. And you cooked like a true champion. Welcome back, sir. All right,
buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Val a huge round of applause.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day in the kingdom, guys.
You too. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it's just been, we're just doing an outstanding job destroying the narratives that the folks on the right, they're up here trying to get us on, and it's not going to work anymore. We're heading towards the midterms, and I really do want to encourage every single one of you to understand that if you go out here and you vote for the devil, don't be surprised by what you get, all right? Because that's what's happening right now in the United States. We're reaping what we sow, so to speak. Good morning, Jim. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Actually, you sound lovely this morning. All right.
I'm
Thank you for coming on.
sorry.
Well, listen, don't push it too hard then. All right. I don't want you to do anything and make matters worse over there.
I needed to come up because one of the things that Brother Swervin said was that when you talk to MAGA now, they talk about regretting their vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make it very clear that they're not regretting their vote. They're regretting that the corruption is now impacting them.
Oh.
Let's also be very clear about one other thing that they're doing is they're going to claim after all is said and done and the harm comes to our country and the harm comes to our families and people are unaliving because of lack of health care, access to vaccines, access to public safety, access to preventatives and medications for cancer research, etc. Let's be very clear that they're going to claim they didn't know. But the truth is this. The bottom line is they did know because past is the predictor of future behavior. We knew who Trump was long before he ever stepped foot in the White House. He was corrupt then. He was a predator then. He was a thief then. And I want everybody in here, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you call yourself, to hear what I'm about to say. It is not just Trump. It is the entire MAGA movement, the GOP that no longer exists, that continues to allow him to do dirty in the dark and hide the corruption until it comes to the forefront. What we just witnessed in Venezuela, he intentionally did not tell Congress because he knew it was illegal. He is a person who acts and then asks for forgiveness, but he doesn't ask for forgiveness. You know why? Because he doesn't have to. They're allowing him to harm our democracy, to harm our Constitution, to harm our allies, to harm our women, to harm our children. It is not just Trump. 2026 is the most consequential election of our lifetime. You must vote these people out. You must eradicate the entire group of Congress members that are allowing the corruption to happen. And I want to remind people, he's even hiding who comes into the White House. There's no longer documentation of who enters through the doors of the House of the people of the United States. You don't know who's eating in the White House. You don't know who knows access to every square foot of the White House. You don't know because they don't want you to know. And what happens in the dark eventually comes to the light. But right now, the darkness is real. It is in the White House. It is in there because it was allowed. It was perpetuated. And if you watch that press conference, and I suggest highly that you go back and listen to every speaker, not only did he admit it, they all said it was him because they wanted to be able to deny that they did it on their own. And I'm going to tell you something. What we witnessed the other day was not only criminal, it was devoid of any humanity, because all they're talking about is we captured Maduro and oil and oil. They're not talking about the civilians who lost their lives. They're not talking about those people that we have no evidence, no empirical data at all that committed any crimes. But we know who did commit crimes: this administration. We know for a fact that this administration committed crimes not only against migrants, not only against international people, but against the American people. Let that sink in, that they are committing crimes every single day that they are in the office of the White House, and it is being allowed by your Congress and by those in the military that are following. I won't even give him the respect to call him his title. But Cain knew that what he just did in Venezuela was illegal, and he acted on it. And he has a responsibility to not follow orders that are illegal, per the Constitution and per his oath in the United States Armed Forces. And so every single one of you that continues to make excuses for this administration, the blood is on your hands. The loss of life is on your hands. The setting the clock backwards in time that harms our children's future is on your hands. The drinking waters that will be poisoned by the lack of follow through is on your hands. The food supply that is going to be harmed, it's on you. Every last one of you that continues to make an excuse for this administration and the Congress that allows it, it's on you. And I'm going to go one step further. If you're spending your days on TikTok and you're not calling your members of Congress, if you're not talking to your family to get out there and register to vote, if you are idly sitting by and not taking action, it is also on you. And I'm going to say one final thing. If you are a far leftist and you are still trying to blame other Democrats, you are a Democrat. And if you are still trying to blame Democrats, the very people that are fighting for the rights of women, fighting for the rights of children, fighting for the rights of the BIPOC community, and trying to make sure that they have rights to their voice and their vote, you are part of the problem also. So let that sink in, because I am so sick and tired of hearing people come for the Democratic Party when the very party harming you is sitting in the White House and in the House of Congress, harming the American people, our allies, and every other person in between. You better wake up, America, because the fact that we're here right now, it's because we blindly sat back and allowed this to happen. And we sat on social media instead of literally listening to the real journalists out there. No, we're over here propagating and perpetuating the Nick Shirleys of the world. Or we're talking about Groypers. Or we're talking about the other person who unalived in his wife's leather pants. That's what we're talking about. I mean, what happened to the United States? Cognitive decline is beyond comprehension to me. And this is no joke. Like, I'm gonna take heat for anything that I say on these apps, but I'll tell you something. The one thing you can never claim that I was wrong about was facts and data. And the truth of the matter is every single one of you that does not take a stand, that isn't registered to vote, that isn't getting your ass out there to protest or do whatever you need to do to encourage other people to register to vote, check your registrations, especially if you're BIPOC, especially if you were an immigrant who came into this country. Find out how hard it is to get a passport right now. They're not going to do it because this administration has been corrupted, and it is up to we the people, for the people, all the people to take our nation back. Do it this year in the 250th year of the United States, and let's progress the nation forward. I'm out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Isn't that incredible? You did an outstanding job, Jim. I gotta give it to you. I don't know how you do it, but you're right up there with the Rizzler. Y'all give Jim another round of applause before we get up out of here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached that moment in the show. It's been an amazing show to start the year off, but Jim is spot on. I want to give every single one of you a huge round of applause. All right. Ange, did you want to get up here and say happy birthday to your daughter real quick? Or if you want me to just say it, then I can do it. But, you know, we got to celebrate the daughter's birthday today. All right. I believe it's her birthday. All right. Before we get up out of here. I want to say special thank you to all of the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. I believe it's her daughter. That's what I read in the comment section. If I'm wrong, I do apologize, Ange, if I'm wrong. But I did hear that through the grapevine, so to speak. I keep my ears to the street. Good morning, Ange. You're beautiful, Ange. How are you doing?
I gotta hang up.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, I fell. I gotta hang up.
Oh, okay. All right, well, then you know what that is. We're sending prayers your way, too, all right? You know,
that's what happens sometimes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were off. I'm sorry. I thought I took you off. Oh, my God. And let that be a lesson. When you're as handsome as I am, you can literally make that and I'm sorry if my handsomeness may have contributed to that, Anne, but seriously, tell your daughter happy birthday. You've done an outstanding job raising her. I want to give a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists, because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is, honestly. One of the most successful shows on TikTok, all right? It's definitely entertaining, engaging, and very educational, all right? Seriously. But on a serious note, though, I got to give one last round of booze and shame, and I do apologize if I didn't get to bring you up today. I always try to bring up as many people as I can, but it gets really difficult because I love all of you, but differently, right? But on a serious note, I got to give one last round of booze and shame. And this goes out to all of the Zeus haters out there who are mad at me because I go and I find information. No, DJ, the moderators, I have the best moderators on TikTok. So let's not start pointing fingers, DJ. The problem isn't the moderators. This is how corrupt these folks are. And this is why I got to send these Zeus haters straight to hell. They complain that everything is rigged against them, right? And that's why they're struggling in life. No, you're struggling because you're a loser. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these Zeus haters where they belong. One more time. Straight to hell! I really don't care. Repeat what they
Silence, you MAGA Daily.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Seriously, we're out of here.
Yeah. Gotta wake the chain up. Get injected with some power. Pull some strings. Came from the trenches, now we ballin' at the top.
Make sure you download the album 1600 Pennsylvania. 1600 on the throne, out here looking brilliant. Hey! I'm the best of the way. Thank you. I don't deserve it, seriously. Just being able to talk to every single one of you on a regular basis and keep this anger out, that means a lot. Seriously. She fit.
Got the power.
Make sure you download the album because people have been coming to me, even on the other side, and they'll say, I've never heard W. Cole as the Dave. They say, I've never heard an album put together like this, Zeus. You really took me through every corner of 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. It's totally incredible, and there's at least a song or two on there for everyone, seriously. Am I right, Kabira? Never stop, no cap, we live, yeah. No alter ego. You know it too. Like I own the block. Chris Gaines, President Angel got the nation in the lock. You can't think of that alter ego. I promise you. I put you in the studio, alter ego, and you would literally wet your pants, bro. Check it out. Flat with the moves, turn the dreams into chandeliers. I'm stay lurking, but they folding under all the pressure. Flexing, I'm the new successor. Hacking legacy, every bar's a new crown. Trap sold in the era. You know you go to Japan. There they go. Arigato izaimasu. Let's go. In the storm, got the drum dropping bombs like I'm reading out a song. Hey, Eugene, you see me over here? Drip is incredible. Make the whole world flip. Busting off the charts, got the game in the trance. Drip too wavy, yeah, make you wanna dance. Hey, y'all, somebody put Eugene in a straitjacket. Tell him, Heaven, because he's trying to take my Riz and do something with it. I didn't give him permission to. WPA. All right, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen.